So now we're going to have a look at some of our control circuits that actually use ECUs and full electronics to be able to operate. Now before we do, we need to have a look at how CANBUS works. In the good old days, we would have an ECU. When it was one ECU, that was no dramas. It only needed to communicate within itself. When we started to add extra ECUs, as long as they didn't have to communicate to any other ECUs, then we had no dramas. But if we wanted the ECUs to talk to each other, for example, we might want the engine and the transmission to talk to each other, then we would connect them up by wires. Then if we then added another ECU, let's say the brakes ECUs, if that needed to talk to, for example, the engine but not the transmission, then the engine would be connected to two modules, whereas the ABS would only be connected to one, as was the transmission. If you then added more, then it got quite complicated. You'd find that, you know, one ECU might be fitted to all of them, whereas some of them might only be fitted to half of them, and then a few of them may only be by themselves or connected to one. And as you can imagine, in the top left hand side, you can see the traditional connections. It gets quite messy doing it that way. And that's where we come into CANBUS. You can see underneath we have a picture of lots of ECUs, the same amount of ECUs, but rather connecting them all up individually, we connect them up onto two wires. We call this the CAN bus. I don't want to go into CAN buses now, but we do need a quick explanation as to how they work. So very briefly, what they do is it allows the ECUs to put messages out to other ECUs, and for those ECUs to then communicate back to them to say, yes, I've got your message and this is the reply. It's a very simple way of doing it, and rather than having lots of wires, we now need to only have two that go around all of them. Now this is crucial, particularly when we start to see vehicles starting to be fitted with 20, 30, 40 plus ECUs. It's absolutely critical that we can have a way of connecting them without fitting a wiring harness the size of a trunk. So this is where the CAN buses come into play, and this is how it works on our vehicles. So previously we said that we have the engine control unit, and the engine control unit can operate the starter motor and control the start of the engine by basically using and controlling the relay, and the ignition switch is separate. If we now swap out a control unit, the engine control unit, and put in another control unit, we need to use CANBUS for it to communicate. So here it is. This is what it looks like in a graphical form. We have over here, this is your engine control unit, so that hasn't changed, but you'll notice that we have changed what's connected to it. It still has the crank speed sensor, still has the relay, but it hasn't got the ignition key fitted to it anymore. Over here we have a vehicle control unit. This doesn't have to be called this, it could be called a body control unit. It varies from manufacturer to manufacturer, and again this is just a generic look at what we've got. So you see here we've got the ignition switch, which again is a manual sensor that tells the vehicle ECU, the vehicle control unit, when the driver wishes to start the engine. When the driver operates that and the vehicle control unit receives a signal from the crank position of the switch, then a signal goes up to the CAN bus, or a message goes into the CAN bus. It communicates that message to the engine control unit to say, hey, I want to start. The engine control unit will then act upon that as long as everything's okay. For example, it will check the crank speed sensor just to make sure the engine's not already running. And then if it's okay, if everything's all right for it to start, then it will then, as we've said before, it will energize the relay. And then the power goes through and the starter motor will begin to crank. Same as before, once the engine starts, the crank speed sensor picks up on the fact that the engine speed has increased past what the starter motor would do, and then the engine control unit de-energizes the relay, which stops the starter operation. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, as you can imagine, we're then going to build on this.